Uh-oh. What's going on here? Looks like somebody got kind of excited about working on the old Dodge. It looks like it's time. It's time to replace that timing cover gasket. So, yeah, we're pretty loose here. Had to order a special tool to get down in there and get that fan off. Should be here tomorrow. We'll just keep on. So now, I think it'll all come out. At least that's what they tell me. That's what the big boys say. Yeah, okay, hold on. Wait a minute, we gotta be careful with this. This is our, hold on. Oh, okay. Yeah, this is electric fan. Okay, so, oops, I fell. Let me get this out of here. But, now, that opens up another whole can of worms. Oh yeah, we can make some bad decisions now. I don't know if you guys can see that okay, but there it is. There's the monster. So I ordered a new pulley for it, ordered a new water pump for it. I'm replacing upper and lower radiator hoses. I'm going to put a new belt tensioner on it. This one's starting to squeak a little bit. And then when we get that harmonic balancer off, we'll inspect it, see what kind of condition it's in. Maybe it needs some loving, who knows. And other than that, it's just got some stuff in there that needs to be cleaned up. But we're going to get on that. And if you can see that, you may notice that my power steering cap is gone. It usually spends most of its time gone. But that's just how this Dodge is. And yeah, pretty amazing though. Original alternator, original air conditioner. I mean, it's pretty much all original. I mean, 330,000 miles. This is the first time I've really had to get into it hard. Although I did put a transmission in it, and I had a vibration. So I pulled my transfer case out thinking the chain was bad. I repaired that. Chain wasn't bad. Not but a couple, 10, 20,000 miles later, the transmission went out, and guess what? The vibration went away. Who'd have thunk it? So anyway, the previous shop that built the tranny for me was very generous and gave me back a whole bunch of money. But then it was 2 or 3 years later, and it cost me even more of a whole bunch of money to put a new transmission in. So, but anyway, other than that, yeah, we're gonna just go through this thing and replace everything that we can, that we think we can, and let's keep on going. Okay, well, little correction. It's not a counterclockwise deal. It threads on normally clockwise, it threads off counterclockwise. I was instructed from that Thorogood diesel that it came off counterclockwise. In other words, they had reverse threads. But he may have had an older year. I think his is '04. This is an '07. But I rotate it the other direction. So I got her loose, and I got to take this one bolt off right here. And wait a minute. That's not the wrench. Let me get the wrench for that, and then we'll circle back and pull this thing out of there. Okay, so my introductory post really wasn't much to speak of. I actually wasn't even gonna film any of this, post it, but I decided I would, just because it's me. I mean, there's a lot of really good professional videos about doing this out there. Thorogood Diesel is one of them that I have to give a pat on the back, which got me started with the confidence it took to do this. So anyway, this is the tool he used to get his flywheel off. It's an impact hammer. So now that's a little bit more of an investment maybe a lot of people want to do, but oh my God, it's supposed to be really easy. And it's supposed to be counterclockwise. Okay, you've got our handy dandy belt tensioner here tool. So we're going to loosen up this belt. Oh, by the way, I also ordered that belt. Here's the handy dandy tool, patent number. What is this? This is, Gear Wrench. Yeah, pretty good company. I have a torque wrench from them. I've got this. So anyway, we're going to get this belt off of here. As I was saying, I ordered a new belt, pulleys. You know, I don't really know if this belt is bad. You know, I have another belt in the back of the truck that I've been carrying around for years that I took off before. And, you know, I guess it's better safe than sorry type of a deal. So we'll just go with it. Okay, here's that. Oh, looks like the belt tensioner thing. Uh-oh, hold on. My thing is stuck in it. There it is. Looks like the belt tensioner, does it have to come off to get this thing off of there? It's gonna come off eventually, so I might as well not struggle with it. Yeah, it's a pretty snug fit in there. So I think we'll just leave that there and pull it off and get the water pump off. The water pump feels pretty damn good. I don't know why I replaced it, but it's just one of those things, you know, while you're in here, get her done. I've never put a pulley on it, although this one feels just fine. And in all honesty, the belt has some cracks down deep. Unless those aren't cracks, and that's just a pattern of the belt. Nothing on the outside, so you never know. We'll see. We'll get the parts in and then determine if we want to actually replace them. But this thing, I think, was replaced not long ago. It doesn't show any signs of wear. The belt tensioner was squeaking a little bit, and I'll have to say, the Dodge dealer warned me when I replaced it to hang on to the original Dodge one, because I'll probably be putting it back on. But anyway, I think I'm buying peace of mind and not parts. So, oh, I'm getting a new thermostat too, even though this one's not bad, but you know, hoses, thermostats, water pump, we'll just replace it all. That way we all know it's good. And I'm getting all Gates products. I don't know if that makes a difference to many people. I think Gates is a pretty good company, and that's what we're gonna do. All right, so I'm just gonna kind of bring you up to speed here. I was gonna take the harmonic balancer off down there, but because I had so little room, I chose to take the radiator out, which normally goes right here. So FYI, if you choose to do that, I want to let you know that your air intake for your air cooler for the turbo, those pipes have to come undone. They connect right here to the end there. There's a rubber boot there. There's a rubber boot from the other side. And then of course this one, it starts here, it goes down at elbows, and it goes into here. And again, rubber boots on both sides. I had to do that in order to get these transmission cooler lines. They actually fit into like a little groove, you know, a little U-shaped cup thing that holds them in place on the radiator. So I had to get those out of place. This is your transmission cooler right here. And it was bolted to the inside of the radiator. So that had to unbolt. I didn't have to take the tranny lines off, thank goodness. And then over here, here's another, it was like an air conditioning cooler line right here. Didn't have to move that either. But I got the radiator out of the way. I got the tranny cooler, you know, it's just kind of hanging here with a strap. No big deal, not concerned about that. She'll be fine. And yeah, we're slowly but surely opening this thing up. And you know what's amazing is, for any of you folks that have done this kind of stuff before, the farther you get in, the easier it becomes. Now it's just a matter of pulling this pulley off, pulling the water pump out, pulling this belt tensioner off, pulling the harmonic balancer off. And then of course this pulley has to come off as well, the whole housing. Down in there, there's some bolts. So this needs to come off also. And yeah, we're just, you know, we're lucky. We get all the fun stuff to do. So that's what we're doing. And then once that all comes off, the harmonic balancer comes off, then it's just a matter of going around all these bolts here, taking all these bolts off, and getting all that replaced. And now down here, you can barely see it. This is your crank timing sensor, I believe. And I started thinking, well, maybe that's what's leaking. But look, it has no grease around the fitting right here, and none of this is like this. So I'm pretty comfortable I'm doing the right thing. And you know what? At 330,000 miles, I either do it now or another 50,000 miles, I have to do it then. So let's just get her done, and I'll circle back after a bit. Okay, so I think I'm on the last one here. It's probably gonna just, and you know, I don't care if it does, but it may just like wanna just drop to the ground, I don't know. Okay, those are some big guys. They go all the way through. Now, I would think it would be loose now, but yep, she's loose. But You know what? I could have just maybe left that bottom one in and just swayed her back. But you know what? Since I got them all out, I'm just gonna leave it. And because I can do whatever I need to do here. All right, so let's swap out that 13. Let's get back into our 10. Let's get these last two guys out. Yeah, that seal was working pretty well, huh? All right, let's get this thing out of here. See what happens. Uh-oh. Nope. Well, it's got a little bit of wear on it, but I don't think it's bad at all. I could probably put a stock one in there, but because I'm going to keep this thing and keep running it, I think I'm going to go ahead and put that kit in since I already have it. Here, let's go down in there. You know, it's got that weird look on it, but it's just as smooth as can be. I don't know what to think about that. Should we press that shim on there? Or should we just put a regular seal on it? Let me think on that. Oh my goodness. Look at that. It went all the way through into the back. So it looks like the way you do this is you just go in through these holes. And there's like 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 bolts in there. So I'm gonna work my way around that and get that pulley off. It's gonna make everything much easier. In fact, I don't think it's even possible without removing it. So I'm gonna do that and then we'll circle back. All right, well that's pretty clean. Good enough for right now. Let's see if I can get some of the, hold on, that's an 11. Where's my 10? What do we use an 11 for? Well, that one came out pretty easy. I guess that explains why he has so much oil on top. Check this out. Looks like an O-ring or something on there. Oh, it must just be gasket sealer. Now that's interesting. If there's gasket sealer on there, that means this thing's been off before. I think. this one wants to cause trouble. I can already feel it. I got the wrench on there. Just has no room to really move. Man. Oh, man. It looks like, yeah, I'm gonna mess up that nut. Well, what do you think? I gotta loosen up that power steering pump. All right, let me research that and circle back. Okay, so we're ready to take the cover off, but I think I'm gonna try to clean up a little bit here. Let's see if I can get us a little more light on that.
Thank you so much. Yes, I'm here with Oil. He's the responsible at the EIB, the European Investment Bank.
Yeah, see, because once I take this plate off, if I go to scrape this gunk out of there, it's going to end up right on all the gears, timing gears. And hold on, where's my pan? Let me get that pan pushed around.
Where we need to be.
Well, we are making a lot of progress. When you look at the climate commitments of multilateral development plans, financing on climate projects,
Put that right there.
after year a record level.
I'm
So
gonna
what you see is more and more
find myself a piece of cardboard
institutions, including the European Investment Bank,
just to put on it.
are developing
After this
projects.
piece of paper will work just fine.
What you see is the impact of climate change in the real life of people. That is also something that is very why we have more and more progressive finance.
In total, you have about 100 billion at your disposal for green and climate and development. We do have about 50 billion.
Okay.
Where is that going?
Now we're ready to make a mess. Let's do this. So, yeah, I want to get all this junk off of there.
And what we have in terms of sharing of projects is 60% climate. The target we have in our objective
Okay, let's.
at least 50%.
Maybe this is overkill, but you know, every little bit helps, and I got the time. No rush, right? Can't rush perfection. Well, that wasn't too much to worry about, but I did it. Now, you know what? I'm gonna get a little scrub brush and some. Hold on. Here's my engine degreaser.
So let me ask you about that, because there is a bit of a fight for this. There's a lot of excitement about the new
Oh, it's the foaming kind.
geothermal.
Doesn't even say foaming. That's pretty cool. You guys see this? This is SuperTech engine degreaser. It's from Walmart. It's like $4.89 a can. Where what's the other one that's so popular? Its foaming degreaser was like $7. So yeah, good buy. And I didn't even know, I looked on it to see if it was foam or regular, and there we go. Maybe I missed it. So anyway, I'm gonna grab a little scrub brush. We're gonna scrub that a little bit, and then we'll get after those bolts. So bear with me.
Climate. It's good for trying to get electricity price down, and it's also good for securing our energy efficiency, energy security. But at the same time, you need to push for innovation, because you don't know what's going to be successful, but certainly some of these ideas will. And that's why we are also very active in supporting projects that have a high innovative content, like in batteries, for example, for electric vehicles.
You know, it is a particular environment right now. It seems to have changed over the last couple of years. It's not just in the United States, it's elsewhere as well. So I'm curious, in this particular environment, are you finding it more difficult to mobilize climate capital? What are you doing to mobilize more climate capital?
Let me find some towels. We'll rub that down a little bit.
What we have is in our government behind us. We have adopted last month our new climate strategy.
Okay.
Strategy.
Well, I'm going to tell you this. That Walmart foaming degreaser doesn't really cut this stuff very well. Maybe it's designed for sitting a while, but yeah, it didn't do much at all. It's a little discouraging. Let's hit it again. See what happens. The products nowadays, they're just so concerned about the VOCs and all that stuff that it just doesn't cut. Doesn't cut crap. Oh, so anyway, let me all right, I'm gonna get some brake cleaner. Hold on. Okay, so as you can see, I've removed the belt tensioner. Goes right there. I was going to replace the water pump, but I think that's a pretty good water pump. I don't think it has but maybe 50, 60,000 miles on it. I am replacing or pulling this pulley off of here. 2 reasons. I'm going to replace it. I did find out, though, instead of replacing the whole pulley, you can actually just buy the bushing, not a bushing, what is it? Bearing, it's a bearing kit, is what it is. And you have to press it in there, which I could do, but, you know, I'm just gonna compare it to the new one when I get it and see how much nicer it is. I mean, it's got 330,000 miles on it. It's gotta be somewhat wore out. But either way, the good news is that I'm gonna keep all these old parts. If some of these newer parts tend to fail quicker than what this old school, you know, Cummins stuff does, then I'll always have them to throw them back on. But with all the highway miles I do, I'm going to play it safe. An extra 50 bucks here, 50 bucks there, no big deal. Oh, the other thing I found too is my my transmission cooler's bad. Here, check this out. Look at that. So, I've got one of those ordered. FYI, what is it? Mitsumoto, they make a really killer transmission cooler. It's a 3-core transmission cooler, 515 bucks on Amazon. But I don't feel I need that much because underneath the truck, I have a auxiliary transmission cooler with an electric fan and everything. And even with this stock one, when I'm on the road right now, because I don't know if you guys have heard about it, but you see that red hose down in there? Okay, so that red hose, what it is, I've bypassed my transmission heater. Yeah, these older Dodges have a transmission heater where water comes off the block and it goes into a little block container, and in that little block container the water runs through the block, but inside of the block is a little radiator of transmission fluid. And so what it does, it heats up your transmission fluid to 190 degrees. I mean, come on. We want to keep these things cool, not heat them up. And I've heard also that in the future, they just got rid of that and it doesn't go on the trucks anymore. But anyway, so the next thing is, I've got these 2 bolts out. I'm going to get these 2 out. That's the troubled one there. By taking that pulley off, it makes this one a little bit easier. But I'm going to get on this and then we'll circle back. Alrighty, folks, as you can see, we got the harmonic balancer off, and it certainly appears as though there is a leak from that main, but I'm also concerned that it's leaking around this thing possibly. So this can easily be replaced later. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this main thing taken care of. And then if need be, we'll look into this, I think that's the timing sensor, crank timing sensor. So anyway, I'm gonna get up top and get that pulley off right there. That's got to come off. I got to get my belt tensioner off so I can get that out of the way. And it looks like that pulley might need to come off, but maybe I can just adjust that power steering pump and get it out of the way. But we'll see when I get up there. All right. You guys with me? I think I got her. I'd like to see that one backside there a little better. Well, with as hard as it was to get them in, I'm thinking we're going to be okay. So we're going to go with it. All right, here we are. So I'm struggling with these lines. The clip is right here. That was inside. By the time I got it out, it had been deformed. So what I had to do was I took the clip out, I bent the arms, these arms here, I had to bend them in some more so they would circle around the hose. So now I'm going to put this one back in. We're going to see how it wants to fit. Hold on, let me get another. Light is my issue. I don't know if, I hope you guys can see this. There we go. Okay, nice. I like that. See, it's a complete circle. Can you see that? It circles around it with these outer arms, reaching in. So now I'm going to push it in. But before I do that, because I was about ready to just abandon ship and cut these hoses off and get some barb fittings and clamps. But if I can make this work, now see, this one looks pretty good. As you can see, I don't know if you can see, maybe that's better. There, see how the arms are coming around the sides real well? Here, this one here needs to go a little bit more. I tried to bend it just with like a screwdriver like this. That might work a little bit. So I'm gonna see if I'm gonna put them on and see how they're looking. Oh, you hear the click? Click, click. All right, hold on. Yeah, it looks pretty good there. This one's not quite as good, but it's pretty good. Let me get my little persuader tool here. All right, I think I can live with that. But I may just go buy some barb fittings and hose clamps and just keep it in my truck. Okay, so this is pertaining to removing these transmission lines. Now let's see if I can get a little closer here. Here we go. All right, so here's the deal. When you want to remove these transmission lines, they recommend you buy one of these little tools. So it gives me the impression that you just slide this little tool up in there and it's going to release the keys that are holding it in place. And that's these things. I don't know if you can see that. Hold on, let me do a little adjustment here. And then let's see if we can go really big in there. Now, I don't know if you can see in there very well, but here's the thing. When you slide these things in there, they don't actually spread those pieces apart far enough to get over the nub. Well, I already put the thing out in the trash, but anyway, so what I had to do, I tried these things until I about ready to freaking call suicide hotline, and then I realized that I just got this little screwdriver in here, and I just wedged it in between the pipe and this little clip and pushed it in. And that's how I got them out. So fancy pliers and all that stuff, I mean, it's a great idea in theory, but, well, here. All right, so here's the new transmission cooler coming in. Now, the problem is that, hold on here. Let me try to get this. All right. The problem is that you got to push it in far enough. Hold on here. You're supposed to push this thing in, and it's supposed to release those clips. But look how shallow it is. You have to get those clips to spread up over the top of this hump. So you're actually supposed to be pulling out instead of squeezing them in. So that's what I ran across. I guess if you pushed it really hard, you get it to push past that, but I couldn't make that happen, you know, to push past it. So anyway, I used this little bitty screwdriver. I bent them around, I put it up in there, I released it, I pulled them off. Here I am. Now, let's see what it's gonna be like getting them back in. So, it should be rather easy. I think, all right, I'm gonna have to turn the camera off and review my pictures, make sure I put the lines on the right side. But I hope this was helpful. It's very frustrating for me, and I'm sure it's very frustrating for you. And maybe I'll just post a separate video on just this, because there's very few of them out there. And the ones that are out there are some guy using this silly $10 part that China just got us for. There we go. It's actually pretty simple. All we do is, you see down here, there's these quick disconnect things there. And from what I've seen, you take this special tool, you clamp it around there, and then you slide it in, and it will release that fitting. So it's going to take a couple of hands to do that. I don't know if you want to see me video it, but you know what? Maybe I'll try to arrange this camera and we'll just see what we can see. Okay, here we go. As you can see, that is the transmission cooler for my truck. The black one is the new one. The silver one is the old one. And it's hard to see in a video, but this backside, well, you can kind of see it. See how dark it is in that upper left-hand corner? That's a leak. So, fortunately, because I chose to do all this work, I found it. So I picked up one. It's 150 bucks. It's a Dorman. I mean, you know, it's great. Now, if you want to get a really cool one, Mazimoto makes a 3-core transmission cooler, period. Now, it's like 500 bucks versus 150 for this Dorman. And if I didn't have an aftermarket transmission cooler already mounted underneath my truck with a electric cooling fan, I probably would have got that, period. But with this one, it's going to work just fine, and I'm going to get it installed and I'll circle back. Okay, so we're getting ready to put the sleeve on. Now, I'm sure you're probably like me. You've probably watched a bunch of these videos, and you see people saying, put some oil on it, put it on dry. You know, I even saw one that says Loctite it on. We had Loctite. So, but, you know, the guys over at Thorogood Diesel, I follow them, and I'm going to go with their ideas. Now, one thing about this sleeve, one side has a little bevel to it, so it goes in this way easier, and the other side has a slight bevel. It's hard to see right there, so when you're putting your cover on, it will slide over it a little easier. So just a point to mention. I'm sure you guys know or kind of have an idea what's going on. So anyway, yeah, so let's just, yeah, I mean, you know, ain't gonna put itself on, right? So let's get after it. Is there a hole in there? There we go, there's one. I know it's kind of hard to see. Let me see if I can kind of get a little more out of your way. You know, I was contemplating, in fact, I have a regular gasket ordered. It'll be here pretty soon, I'm thinking. Because I started thinking, well, you know, I mean, look, it looks so good. I'm thinking, why go all that extra work to put this sleeve on it? But then I actually felt the bottom of it, and I could just barely feel a little bit of a groove in it. So we're putting it on. I mean, it ain't gonna hurt nothing. I watched a video on how to take it off. It's pretty simple. You just take like a chisel with a sharp edge on it and you smack into it, and it causes the sleeve to expand. Pretty interesting, huh? Yeah, you can feel it. It's going in. You know, if I get to this side, it's a little looser. I go back here. That side's loose. Go here. Let's just do 3 each. 3, 1, 2, 3. I saw a guy put one of these on with an air impact. Well, it's an electric impact, but still, not impact, but a speed wrench. I think they said don't do that. But, you know, there's so much work involved. Well, I shouldn't say that. It's not that much work. It's a process. But there is a lot of time involved in stripping this thing down, and so every little bit helps. In fact, I'm ordering a new seal because I kind of boogered up the seal that the first one I ordered, kind of boogered it up a little bit. And you know, like I said, I mean, there's so much involved in doing this. Let's make sure we get it right. So that new seal will be here, I think, tomorrow. So I'm getting this all ready to go. I got these edges all cleaned up. I've got a water pump to put in. I got a steering, what is it? The serpentine belt tensioner to put on. So anyway, I got plenty to do. Oh, I got to put a new transmission cooler in. This baby right here. I notice it's got a leak on it. So I've got one of those ordered. And that should be here pretty soon. It looks like three pumps is about right. Because when I swap from this side to this side, I can feel it's loose. Then it gets tight. 1, 2, yeah, see there? I mean, I would think if you're not careful with this, you get this thing on kind of cockeyed. I mean, it'll probably make it expand. And then you never know. I mean, I don't know how it manages not to leak underneath it, but I guess it doesn't. Looks like we're almost there. This is a workout. I see why that guy used that speed wrench. I think I'm working up a sweat here. Yeah, it's definitely one of those jobs. There's so much to it that you don't want to get in a hurry if something fails. Although I will say this timing cover, it cleaned up pretty easily. You know, just kind of worked my way around it with a little red Scotch-Brite pad, a little brake cleaner. Okay, I think we're there. Okay. Yeah, I'm hoping that tranny cooler gets here. That'd be a nice little project to eat up some time. I should have oiled these bolts a little bit. Keep that in mind when you do this. Oil these bolts up a little bit so they go in easier, and it tightens easier, you know. You know, I was looking into that anti-seize material. I used that a bunch when I did all the brake calipers and everything. And all right, there it is, just like in the movies. All right, let's go find something else to do. Well, as you can see, I've been putting some parts on. I've still got to get the harmonic balancer on down there, but there's a dust cover that's supposed to go over the outer perimeter of this crankshaft, and having a hard time pressing it on there. So I got it sitting in the freezer. We'll see what's going on with it tomorrow morning and see if I can get this thing finished up. Okay, I just finished torquing down all the bolts, 18 foot-pounds. And that's why you notice now that the little white ring, this guy, is out of the crankshaft. They say leave this in until you're completely finished and everything is torqued. So I'm all torqued down. I'm going to start throwing some parts on it, and hopefully we're going to get this thing fired up in the next day or so. Okay, so I just got the front cover on. I'm sorry, I forgot to video it, but it's pretty basic. What you do is you lean the cover up against it and you put this piece in first, because that kind of centers everything. And then I just slowly put a screw in every 3 or 4 spaces and then filled in all the gaps in the middle. And then I just hand tightened them. And from what I've learned, we need to wait about an hour for the material to tack up, and then I can come back and torque them down. I think it's 18 foot-pounds. So we're on our way. Okay, I just wanted to post a quick video and kind of clear up an issue with this kit I purchased. So this kit came with this extra ring, and I wasn't quite sure what it was for or how it was supposed to install, because the guys at Thorogood Diesel, they don't give you one of these rings when you buy it. But what I noticed was that when I took the harmonic balancer off and the gear that actually sensors with your the crank sensor gear that mounts behind the harmonic balancer, and this ring fell off. So I'm trying to press this ring on over the top of the shim, and it just won't go on there. And so I'm thinking, well, maybe if I put it in the freezer, it will expand and I'll get it on there easier. But then I started thinking, well, you know what? When I pulled my unit apart, this thing just fell on the ground. It wasn't actually slipped onto the crank. So basically, this is about the size of the crank. So it just barely touches the end of the crank. It does not go over the sleeve. Doesn't go over it. It has actual metal inside of it. Sorry, maybe this is too close. But the way this works is you just set it up in there. You get your gear that rides on the crank sensor, and you just press it up against there. So it's just barely touching it, and it's not pressed onto it. That way, as you see, it will provide some protection for the dust cover without touching it, which could cause you to tear it up. Because when I took it off my old truck, well, this is it. Or no, this was a different one. But when I took it off my old truck, it had oil on both sides of it. And then you could see like a little rub spot on the actual wheel, the gear wheel for the crank sensor, where this was, you know, kind of touching it. So again, it doesn't press over the sleeve. It just barely sits on the end of the crank, and you got to be careful and make sure it's in there. That's why I did a little test run on the truck. There you go. All right, there she is. Little quick test run. Running okay. Balancer's on nice and smooth. All right, off she goes. Okay, so here we are. As you can see, I'm not very good at filming this stuff, so I just about got her all back together. I just finished putting the fan on in the outer shroud, or the inner shroud, I should say. This is the outer portion right here. And this is the tool I'm using. I just wanted to show you guys how this works. It works with an air hammer tool. But you know, I'm thinking there's no reason why you couldn't just take a hammer and just hammer on this shaft. And here's how it works. So you've got all these different size wrenches here. And let's see if we can get some better light on that. How about that? Is that better? No, maybe not. Well, so much for trying to do a better job. But anyway, the way it works is, oh, did I catch it? I saved it. Here's the tool. So this wrench goes on there. It has this little hook in it, as you can see. And then this piece fits into the hook. Okay? Like so. And so you just hammer down to tighten that way, or on the other side, take it off to go that way. Actually, to go that way. So that's how it works. So, yeah, well, I guess fortunately I'm a better mechanic than a video guy. So it just goes on like that. And then we're gonna take this tool, we're gonna slide it into place right there, and it's tight. So that's how that goes in. That's kind of a key thing to make this go a little easier for you. But as you can see, I've got her all back together, and I've already pre-run the motor. Belt's running nice and tight. Harmonic balancer's nice and it's not wobbling. I was concerned about that little black seal that we had to put underneath behind the timing gear for the crank sensor. But other than that, it runs. I'm just finishing up the fan and the shroud, and I just plugged that in. I've got a couple of loose brackets here to finish off. Another one goes right here. That's this one. Goes right here for this side, down in there. I'll get those on. Get my upper radiator hose on. My lower hose is already on down there. And, oh, I got some performance parts right there. Look at that. Only cost me $3 for a can of red spray paint. I just put this belt tensioner on. It's already clicking and making noise. I know it's hard to hear because of the noise of my truck, but you can hear a high-pitched click, click, clicking sound. There were lots of belt tensioners online for less than $40. But I chose to buy the most expensive one, and I don't expect it to be doing this. Okay, well, there's the difference. So, change that fluid. I think in the manual, I don't even recall what it says, but a lot of these fluids are like every 7,500 miles, 15,000 miles. I tell you, this was way past due. All right. I don't know if you can see that, but there's little pieces of metal shavings in there. And I am 99.9% sure this tray was completely clean because I was using it when I was working on the truck. It was sitting actually, see all those metal flayings in there? See them? I was using it for a tool bin on top of my motor. So I know it was completely wiped out. And what's all that specks of stuff there? So anyway, yeah, see, I've never done this before, and I've put 150,000 miles on this truck. So I'm glad I did it. I'm gonna put some fluid in it and move on. All right, so there's the fluid. It kind of has some swirly dark things in it. You know, I'm gonna get a clear jug and pour it in there, see what happens. Okay, so we pretty much have the Dodge finished up. Did some test driving, took a couple days off. I still have to put this fender skirt back on. As you can see all the way over into the motor. That needs to go back on. Oh, good news. Look at this. What do you see? Nothing, period. No drips, no leaks, no nothing. Nice, clean piece of cardboard. So, but there is one other thing that I'm going to do today, and that is power steering fluid flush. And it looks like it's going to be pretty simple. There's the lines that come off the power steering pump. I'm just going to unclip them and slide those babies back. Let that radiator drain. I don't know if it will allow the fluids in the pump to drain at the same time, but we're going to check that out, and because that's the only thing that hasn't been changed. You know, draining fluids changed, antifreeze changed. I haven't changed the oil. It's only got a couple thousand miles on it. Bled all the brake lines when I put the new calipers on. You know, the differentials have been changed recently. So we're looking good. So let me get some tools out. And like I said, I don't know if I need to really do a video on this, but just gonna disconnect these clamps right there and there. Slide those hoses back, let it drain, slide it back on. I think it uses an ATF4 transmission fluid. And yeah, because I looked down in there the other day and it was brown. So I'm gonna get on that.